This project is going to be an exploration of illustration as a career. Illustrators create images that are usually put onto products or books, and they usually go along with some kind of text. So for this, we're going to be using holiday cards or celebration cards as our example. And holiday cards, or cards in general, whether they're birthday cards or whatever, include three main elements, and that's going to be the front, which will have some kind of illustration, the inside, which will contain some kind of a message, and the back, which will include the company logo or name and maybe a barcode and price. So those are the three things that need to be on a card in order for it to be considered a card. So for these, you're going to notice that because these are smaller works of art, so to speak, that they color them completely, and a lot of them add some kind of a surprise element to raise the quality of it. So for this one, we could see that the image is, fully colored in. There's even shading kind of hinted at in this bag and in the sleigh, and they've actually added glitter. I don't know if that can actually be seen in the camera, but it's definitely there. But everything is colored in. Even the white area has kind of a reflection in it. So we can see that there's an attention to detail. Inside, the message is written usually on one part of the card, though we will see examples where it's written on two sides. The text is written in an even way. It's written on a line. It's straight across, and you can see there's an even amount of space on both sides, so it's centered well. And then the back of the card, usually the logo here, we could consider that maybe a logo in the center, and then something along the back. But we have to know what's the company, where could we buy more, that kind of thing, and that's why it's on there. Here's an anniversary card. So we could see that the quality or the surprise factor is this cutout. And again, this is kind of foil that's been placed behind a laser cut image of hearts. And when you look very, very close, there's a little bit of browning on the edges. So we know that this is definitely laser cut, which means that they had to use a more expensive machine to create it. The font and the writing is very high quality. It's centered all the way around, so the front has all of that on it. And then the inside, even this white isn't really white. It's hard to tell, but it's actually pearl kind of colored. It's got a little sparkle to it. And here we have text on both sides. So it's really a poem and then some really celebratory font at the end to say happy anniversary. And then on the back, we have American Greetings is on the logo in the back. And again, this is pearlescent kind of color, so it's not just white. The company has paid attention to details to get all of that in there. Here we have some funny birthday cards. So this one, it's your birthday, put on a happy face. Nice clear photograph with the bubble writing, and then inside, mine costs $12,000. Now, this one, the inside is absolutely white, which is fine on a card. We do have a company logo on the back, and they have the barcode, so it's easy to buy and sell these kinds of things. And the image is a high-quality, clear image on the front. Here's one that's more cartoony. You're not getting old. You've been old for a while. Now you're just getting closer to death. Happy birthday. So that's kind of dark, but there are a lot of people with dark senses of humor who would appreciate a card like that. And then on the back, Baldy Eye Comics. We even have websites and email addresses where you can get more information, a barcode to make it easy to buy and sell. Here, this is something you could actually do. We've got drawing going on there. We've got a background color. It's darker to lighter behind the figure. We've got cross-hatching details on here for shadows. So if it was just the cartoon as a simple outline with one color, it might not be all that high quality, but this is showing a little bit more workmanship. We've got some bubble letters for the greeting on top. It's, obviously centered, and they took time to do that. You would be allowed to print out text if you'd like to and glue it into the card that you're going to be creating. In the packets that you've received, you've got 2 cards that could be folded in half to make these. You also have cardboard paper, so you'll ignore the cardboard paper for this. Here's a thank you card. This one does have white in the background, but they've added the extra as being this embossing. So it's a little hard to see here, but these letters actually pop up. His nose pops up here. The world pops up a little bit. We can see on the back a little bit of an impression of what's going on there. So if you're going to pull back on the coloring, you need to push forward with something else to show higher quality, that you're fully utilizing your time to create your card. So that's how this company did it. And also, it's not just colored in blue. If you look carefully, there's some blue to green to yellows kind of in there. So they did take their time to put in kind of details. There's even a shadow behind the little character there. The inside, we've got our message. It's centered, it's clean, it's neat, and on the back it's a hallmark. So that's going to be a sign of quality. Now, these are special cards from an artist named Robert Sabuda. And I like to collect his work. He's very famous for his greeting cards, which are fairly expensive. And he does pop-up books that are extremely complicated. So this one doesn't have a message in it. It's a celebratory card that could be used for a birthday or a congratulations. It has many purposes. And we could see that the design is very elegant and simple. There is a lot of white space up here, but you'll see from the inside his extra is all the work that went into making a pop-up like this. So we've got a whole bunch of cupcakes that fill the whole thing, and then there's plenty of space down here to create a personal message. And again, not really a logo on the back, just his name and some information about where to get his cards. Here's another one by Mr. Sabuda, and we have some sugar cookie kinds of things. This has a white background, but it's beveled and embossed. We can feel a texture here. There's some sparkle going on. So this is high quality. So if you're going to use a lot of white, you have to do something special, a little bit extra on there. Inside, this one is very complicated, and you can see as you open it, the cookies swirl around and move. So this is very, very hard to achieve. But there are many kinds of tutorials on YouTube that you can use to create pop-up cards, and that would be something you could do to exceed expectations and get a higher grade. Here we have a simple message, a colored background, a plate. He's even got some shading going on in there. And again, instead of a logo, just his name and where his cards can be purchased. This last one is something that a friend sent me that really surprised me. Looks like it's a regular card, but actually it's a pop-out kind of thing with lots of levels inside of it. And you can see from the top that there's lots of layers. They even added color into the inside side, so as you look through it, it feels very complete, but it's super complex. I would not expect any student to really do this, but this is where somebody could go if they wanted to make it into a profession of this kind as an illustrator. So where do you begin? Well, you want to grab a piece of scrap paper and just fold it in half twice. Doesn't even have to be, new paper. Might as well recycle. Fold it in half once, fold it in half twice, and start designing your idea of a card. What do you want on the front? What kind of message are you going to put in there? And then make up your own logo. You can make up your own company, use your initials, or make up some kind of funny name. If your family comes from Ireland and you have Irish heritage, you could do a four-leaf clover and, Irish cards, whatever you'd like to do. Have some fun with it. And that's what you're going to do before you get to your good paper that's in the packets that you received. So you have 2 card papers in your packet. And again, there are 2 other pieces of white cardboard. I'd like you to set those to the side, but you're going to use that good paper. Once you're happy with your design, we'll call this a sketch. Now, when you're done, you're actually going to be submitting your cards like this. So you can have it open this way or this way. That doesn't really affect anything. But you're going to open it up all the way, and you're going to photograph that. Then you'll turn it over and photograph it again when you submit it for your grade. I have 2 videos that you need to watch so that you can do the best that you possibly can on these. One is called the Am I Done video. It's one you should watch before you submit any project. And then the other one is going to be a download where I have given you over 100 unusual holidays from all around the world. So you can download that packet if you're thinking of a holiday and you're not sure what to do and you're kind of stuck. There's going to be lots of ideas. You do not have to use those ideas. If you have a friend or family member with a birthday coming up, you can make a birthday card for them. So not only is it a project grade, but it can actually be something you can give to somebody. You could maybe create a holiday card. Perhaps you're from a culture that celebrates different holidays. So you could do something like that. So I think of Dia de los Muertos of Mexico. That's not a holiday we celebrate in the United States. But if you can make a cultural connection to a holiday that might be celebrated because of your heritage, that's definitely going to be helpful to your grade because you can make a personal connection. Art that makes a personal connection is always a good thing, particularly for your grade. So consider these things as you come up with a design, and make sure you're looking at my samples as you submit, and make sure that you've met all those expectations. It does have to have those three things in order to pass, and that's going to be the front, the message, and the company. By putting in an extra, whether it's glitter, gluing on extra things, making a pop-out or something like that, that's how you can exceed expectations and move a grade from a C, which is acceptable, to something more like an A if you want to exceed expectations.